Morning. I'm doing my hair. It's just an awful mess. So I thought I'd just kill two birds with one stone. This is what my hair normally looks like when I get out of the shower. Okay, I can never get the brush the right way around. The good thing about doing this is that I can use the camera as a mirror. Aha! I never thought of that before. That's really quite good, isn't it? Look, I've been having a few emails from people saying, they've been quite disturbed by my recent breakdown, which was when I was at Stonehenge. I've cut out the bit where I was a bit weepy and feeling at my very lowest ebb. You see, I am a woman, so I am emotional, and I understand that, and I understand what the emotions are, and I do allow them free rein occasionally, and I just happen to have that on camera. The thing is, past year, if you go back to the beginning of my second lot of videos, this is the how can I say it? Go back to the beginning of all my videos and you'll find that the reason why I'm feeling like this, I am going through the grief process, and it is difficult, but I know exactly what's happening while it's happening, and it's not pleasant, but I'm trying to get to grips with it. The thing is, I know life has to continue. I do learn an awful lot of lessons from people, especially my clients, so my life isn't as shit as everybody else's, and I know that. I know, as not everybody else, obviously, but some people have got such awful lives, and I learned that when I was working for the military, and all these young lads used to come to me and just spill out their problems. Oh my goodness, it was. I used to be shocked when I first heard all these stories from them, and it was quite awful. But let's get this out of the way. A bit annoying, isn't it? And then I compare their lives to mine, and I think I've got it good. I have, and it's really sad. But life is a series of ups and downs. It's a roller coaster, and I'd rather be on that roller coaster than a merry-go-round, because when you're on a merry-go-round, you're just going round and round and round. It's all boring, it's never exciting, and it's all the same thing. And what I mean by that is a metaphor, okay? It's a metaphor for the way you live your life. If you're just getting up in the morning and not working, and you are thinking, what can I do today? I've got no meaning or purpose in my life. Why don't I just get on, have a cup of tea and go and watch the telly? That's what people do. And they don't feel as if they need to do anything. Life is just a series of, drinking, eating, shitting, going watching the telly and going to bed. And it's like that for some people. And other people have horrible things happen to them. Really, really horrible things. And I've heard some people going through the absolute horrors of life. And it's a privilege for me to listen to that. I think they're honouring me by giving me the opportunity to listen to their experiences, and I think that's an honour. It is. Trust in me to do that. The thing is, when I look at my life in comparison to theirs, I think I've got nothing to complain about, nothing at all, and you just get on with it. It's only when you think of other people who've got better things in life than you, that's when you start to feel a bit, why is it always me? As I had one soldier kept saying that to me. And he said it in a Brummy accent, so it kind of like sounded a bit weird. Anyway, why is it always me? Oh dear. Anything that went wrong, he made a beeline for him, and he always came into the office and said that. Oh, bless him. If you don't believe me about the military, all you have to do is look on Flickr, look up Kay Bewley, K-A-Y-E, Bewley, B-E-W-L-E-Y, and go to Flickr, and then you'll, at the very bottom, you'll see some videos that I took when I was at Borden, I think, and all some of the lads there on a family's day. So I'm entitled to put it on video, and they're only like very short ones, because Flickr wouldn't allow me to put the whole video up. But if I can find the whole video, then I'll try and put it on this channel. Just they're good memories, aren't they? Ooh, I haven't brushed my hair for a couple of days because I've been weepy. And that's okay, you know, I'm entitled to feel sad occasionally, and that's a good thing. One of the benefits of being alone is that I can just hide myself away and just feel sorry for myself if I want to. It doesn't matter. I'm not going to put it on camera again. I don't think. I'm not going to do what's her name? Oh, I can't remember her name. You know, that singer, really fantastic voice, large lady who's lost a lot of weight. Oh, I don't follow these singers. I don't know who she is. I can't remember. But anyway, I'm not going to do that. Although it is kind of like keeping a diary, so that's quite nice, isn't it, from that point of view? A video diary rather than a written diary, which is what I've kept over the years. Anyway, I'm waffling now, but I wanted you to know that I'm okay and I know how to deal with these emotions. It's all right. Things do get me down. I do feel angry, I do feel depressed, I do feel alone, lonely sometimes. It's a bit different. Lonely and alone are different concepts. And sometimes I do feel lonely, but then I think, no, I've got lots of friends. They're true friends that have been around for a long time, so, you know, that helps. And I've also made some new friends as well, because I've lost a few friends through what's happened over the past couple of years. Friends I thought that would stay by me but didn't, and I'm kind of, you know, upset about that, but you just have to let people go because they have to make their own decisions, don't they? Well, for them, they haven't got me in their life anymore. Anyway, yeah, lonely and being alone are different things, and I love being alone, I do, because I've been in several relationships, 3 long-term relationships I've had in my lifetime, and while I was in them, I felt more lonely in those relationships than I do now, being alone. And it's really weird because I thought I had good relationships at the time, but when I look back, maybe it's just nostalgia, I don't know, that I'm thinking. But yeah, I remember when I was in my last relationship, I fell in love with him. And I don't hear from him anymore. Because soon after, I don't want to go into details. Anyway, yeah. The thing is, what was I going on about? Yeah, being lonely. I remember when, I don't want you feeling sorry for me when I'm saying this, okay? Because this is just part of life and I understand that, alright? I remember we'd had 8 years of a relationship, and I moved up to Scotland and it was beautiful, lovely. Out of that relationship I had a beautiful little doggy, Buddy. You'll see odd pictures of here and there because I loved him. He died at the age of 17 in 2016. But went off to doggy heaven. But anyway, can I say, from that relationship, it started off all lovely, beautiful. I just remember the week that, you know, he spent in London when he came down to see me, when he first came down to see me from Dundee. And it was so good, because what I'd done was I'd arranged, because he'd never been to London before, so I arranged this fun little thing for us to do, and I'd picked all the touristy places that I thought he might enjoy seeing, and some things that I thought he wouldn't enjoy seeing, and I tore them all up, I wrote them all down on a pad, I tore them all up, put them in a hat, and then every day we would pick something out of that hat and go and see it in London, and we'd make the best of it. We'd kind of like go there, travel on the train. It was only about 20 minutes from where I lived on the train to go and see it in London, and then we'd go out there, have a fun day, pick 3 things, I think it was, pick 3 things, and we'd go in the morning, the afternoon and the evening, and we'd spend the whole day, and we'd got rail cards and everything, so no, that was okay. And it was just such a fun week. It was, the weather was beautiful, and we went to see all the touristy spots, and he really enjoyed it. It was really good, and I think that was one of the best weeks of my life. And it was good. I mean, people say don't air your dirty laundry in public. I'm not. I'm just telling you a little bit about why I felt more lonely in some relationships than others. I mean, that relationship lasted 8 years, and we ended up buying a house together, living in Scotland, buying a dog, and one thing I did want to do was get married and have children, but that wasn't going to happen. So I remember sometimes just standing outside against the wall. It's rocking the van, the wind is so strong today. And I've got the camera on a stand, so it's kind of like doing this as the van's rocking. So sorry if you're feeling seasick. But anyway, yeah, I remember standing outside in the garden, leaning up against the wall and looking up at the sky and saying, I feel so lonely in this relationship. Yeah, I remember Valentine's Day was particularly pertinent, and that's what was the pivotal point. It was the fact that I'd made a nice meal, and we'd set the table, and we sat at the table and we ate. It was lovely. This was after all the counselling, and it made the effort, put a nice dress on, I put makeup on, I did my hair, and it was nice, and I was a lot slimmer then. But that didn't matter to him. He didn't, I didn't get a card, I didn't get any flowers, I didn't get any kind of like kiss or anything like that. And I felt peeved. I did felt, why didn't you do that? Why? Why doesn't he want to kiss me? But I made the effort, and then at the end of the meal, instead of saying thank you and having a conversation and improving the bond between us, he just put down his knife and fork on his plate and went off to the internet again. And one thing I did find after that instant, I thought, I don't want this. I really don't want this. I feel more lonely in this relationship than I ever did when I was on my own. And the thing is, you can feel like that if you don't do things together, if you don't explore, if you don't go places, and if you don't meet other people together, that is. And also alone, keep your friendships alive as well. What I'm trying to make the point of is, I'm okay. I go through these ebbs and flows of life, and that's part of being a human being, and especially part of being a woman as well, and I am a woman. I do identify as a female, and I've been through the pains, the physical pains, actually going through this and justifying that I am a woman. But the thing is, the world changes, life changes, and we have these upsets in life and we deal with them. You have to. It's either dealing with them or just giving up, and I don't want to give up. I never want to give up. I love life. I love living. I love feeling all these sensations. I love looking at things. I love looking deeply at things. And well, Socks with Sandals, I said that I'm too sensitive. But that's okay. I am sensitive. I know I am. And I can deal with that. And if you don't think that's right, then that's your business. You go away and live your own life. I don't mind. I like me. I live my life and I feel okay. It's not absolutely brilliant, but then what life is. It's not devastatingly awful. I can function. But this grief process is like I've had a triple whammy really over the past year, and it's not been a pleasant experience. When I think about my other two relationships, they were good men. Well, one of them was. The other one was a bit of a bugger. But, you know, when I look at him now, I don't meet with him, I don't see him anymore, but my eyes are wandering everywhere and I'm thinking, God, what can I say about him? I don't want to, whatever I say will boost his ego. And I don't want that, because he's got a huge ego. He doesn't need it boosting anymore. I don't know how he's living his life now, but he does keep contacting me and he keeps putting comments on my bloody webpage. So if you're watching this, just bugger off. Go and live your life. Because I know you're just taunting. The thing is, he was very passionate. Not a deep thinker. Very intelligent. A very masculine man, and we had a very passionate relationship, and it was a good one. But the trouble was, he was being passionate with everybody else too. So I wasn't going to put up with that. I had quite a few years of putting up with it though, but in the end, no, I couldn't, not anymore. I didn't have any more energy left for it. I was accepting of the fact that the type of character he was, and I do feel for him, but I don't love him anymore. He was in the army and he was away for quite a few times, and he went off to the Gulf War, the first one, and when he came back, I just felt abandoned. I was in my late 20s, early 30s, and I just thought, where's the point in this? And I was stupid. I was really stupid. And I think I paid the price for that relationship, because that really was devastating. There were a few things that happened and we just had to deal with them, you know? It's just life, isn't it? It's the way life goes. And then my first relationship, such a good man, really good man, but I didn't feel safe with him. But the thing is, even in that relationship, I was, I think 24, 25, I'm not sure, until, I can't even remember. It was unimportant to me how old I was, but I was in my, mid-20s, I think. I had a 5-year relationship, and all the way through it, we used to go and photograph weddings. And each wedding that we went to, I kept thinking, he's going to pop the question. He's going to pop the question. I know he will. And it was me. I thought, he doesn't want to marry me. Doesn't want to have a family. We'd bought a house together. And I walked away from that with nothing. Even the car we bought together, I had the finance to pay on it. I didn't take anything because I felt I didn't deserve anything. I just thought, no, I've broken his heart, and by saying I want to leave, and he was devastated, and I was very, very sorry, but it was 5 years too late in asking me to marry him, because he did at the very end. When I was leaving, I had all my bags packed and I was, halfway out the door, and he said, looked up at me and cried and said, I'll marry you if you want. I thought, is that a proposal? I just felt even more that I'd made the right decision to leave. I thought, no. But it was a mistake on my part to leave him. I think I should have really sat down and had the conversation. But we never did. For some reason, I remember sitting outside the door when he was in the toilet. And I was sitting outside the door saying, can't we talk, please? And he said, what's there to talk about? Well, I know now how a man's mind works. But then I didn't. I thought, we're sleeping in separate bedrooms. We don't really talk to one another, and something's happening here. I want to have children, I want to get married, I want to... but it never happened, and I didn't know why. And all those weddings that we went to photograph, not one hint of a proposal was in there, offing there, apart from when I actually left. And that was what his mum told me to say. She told me, because I was crying on the phone to her saying, why won't he marry me? Why won't he marry me? Oh gosh. Yeah, she told me, she said, if you want him to marry you, then why don't you just get pregnant or threaten to leave? I thought, no, I don't want to trap a man into that. I don't want to do that. He either marries me because he likes me and the whole package, as I am. Loves me, I should say, not just likes me. Or there's no hope. I'm not going to force a man to marry me. But she was right. I was leaving. I was going out the door, and he said, I'll marry you if you want. I thought, oh no, too late. So loneliness in relationships can be even more hurtful and painful than it can be when you're living on your own. Because right now, while I'm living on my own, I do yearn for company, a man's company, occasionally. I'm a human being. I'm a woman, and I like being physical with a man. But I have actually been on my own since 2009, and that's okay. That's all right. Because I was in an environment, the most male-dominated environment for 10 years, over 10 years, than you could ever imagine. And not once did I go out with any of them. Not as a, romantic thing. I know I could have done, but I didn't. Because I was asked a couple of times. A couple of people, men, I should say, did try to kiss me. And I thought, oh, no. I'm working here. Oh dear. No, I didn't want to indulge in that sort of thing while I was working in that environment. And they were lovely lads. I saw a different side to them because of that. I was able to see how they ticked without getting any kind of intimate involvement with any of them. I was able to separate myself and keep my own identity and let them know that I was there for them as a professional, and if they wanted to offload their problems, then they could do that easily and in private. But I was never alone in that job. I was never lonely because I was surrounded by people every day, mostly men, and it was a good environment. I really enjoyed it. But this past 3 years has been a big adjustment, and I've kept thinking in my mind, it's not just me that's going through this, it's the whole world. You know, the whole world is having to deal with this upset, and there are more to come. And so when you think about being lonely or alone or upset and sad because your life is so devastatingly crap, you can get to the low ebbs of despair. You can get depressed and anxious about what's going to happen. But I have the tools within me to allow these emotions out, because it's like a pressure cooker. You know, when you undo the top and you let the steam out, well, your body's way of letting that steam out is through the tears, and that's okay with me. I don't kind of like expect anyone to say, oh, I'm really sorry, can I do anything for you? I don't, because I let that emotion out and then I get over it and do it, and it's done with. It's okay. So yeah, I do feel lonely occasionally, but it doesn't take a hold of my life. And when I have little outbursts like I had in my van when I was on not Salisbury Plain, why do I keep saying Salisbury Plain? Stonehenge, it begins with an S. When I was there, it was just bitterly cold and I hadn't eaten anything, and when you don't eat and you're cold, your emotions do get frazzled. I was frazzled and I was feeling sorry for myself and I was thinking about all the things I could have had which were taken away from me, and all the people that I had loved. My life is completely different now to what it was, and that is a hard thing to adjust to, but because I have all of these tools, these abilities, this knowledge, these skills that I've learned, I'm able to cope with it, and it's okay, you know, it's alright. So thank you to everybody who has expressed a concern for my welfare. I do appreciate it, I really do, but I'm okay, you know. Thank you. Alright then, that's my that's my Cuppa with K today. It's gone cold now. I was doing my hair. But anyway, I'll catch you another time. Okay, bye.